Monster Hunter Wilds has passed 10 million copies sold, which is absolutely phenomenal if we take into account that the previous best-selling Monster Hunter game, which is Monster Hunter World, has managed to achieve 21.3 million units by the end of last year. According to this AI, it's actually reporting about 28 million units. I don't know what are the exact copies sold for Monster Hunter World, but, Monster Hunter Wild reaching 10 million units sold within its first month of release is actually pretty friggin' sweet. But to top it off, we also received a director letter. So we're going to be going over that letter, and I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on everything that is said in said letter. So here we go. This is a message from Director Tokuda-san saying the hunt is on. Hello hunters, this is Yuya Tokuda, the director of Monster Hunter Wilds. Thank you so much for playing Monster Hunter Wilds. As announced today, Monster Hunter Wilds has now sold more than 10 million copies globally. We are very happy that so many people around the world are playing the game. To commemorate the 10 million milestone, we are planning to release a free item pack for the community, so please look forward to more information. We'd also like to thank you for the many comments, thoughts, and feedback we have received since the game was released. The development team has been reading your feedback and we are encouraged by it. We are also using the comments and feedback we have received to help us plan our future actions. In this message, I'd like to take a moment to run through some of our upcoming plans based on your feedback, including a few areas that have already been in the works. So this letter kind of details the intent for the future of Monster Hunter Wilds. So let's have a look-see. Future planned updates, we plan to add new content, make various improvements and adjustments on an ongoing basis. Here's a look at what's currently on the way. We already talked about this, so on the 3rd of April, we're going to be getting Mizutsune, Grand Hub, Zoshia, and Arena quests. On the 22nd, there's the Festival of Accord Blossom Dance, which is going to bring with it a wealth of event quests. On 29th of April, we're going to be getting Arch-Tempered Raid Dao, and by the end of May, we're going to be getting the Capcom collaboration, as well as other additional features. Then on the summer update, which is going to be later during the summer, we're going to be getting Lagiacrus making a comeback, as well as another seasonal event, which will bring with it a wealth of more event quests. As we just announced, the first free title update is scheduled to be released on Friday, April 4th. In addition to adding new content such as the additional monster, Mizutsune, and the new multiplayer gathering location, the Grand Hub, we also plan to make various tweaks to the game. We'll also continue to release further updates with an update at the end of May, a second free title update around summer, and more free title updates to come beyond that. Challenging monsters. In addition to Tempered Arkveld 8 stars, future updates will see more Tempered Monsters 8 stars added to the game. The interesting thing about this to me is the fact that Tempered Gore Magala is only 7 stars, even at Strength 5, and Tempered Gore Magala is, without a shadow of a doubt, the hardest monster currently in the game. So it's funny that Tempered Arkveld is actually considered stronger by the devs, or at least for whatever classification they have for monsters, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. In the first title update, Mizutsune will be unlocked at Hunter rank 21 or higher, and at Hunter rank 41 or higher. Tempered Mizutsune 8 stars will also be available to hunt in the environmental overview. This is the one that has some of those Soul Seer features that we talked about, which should be pretty sweet, going to give us a decent challenge, I would imagine. Additionally, starting with the release of Free Title Update 1, you'll also be able to repeatedly hunt a high-ranked version of Zoshia, who you could previously only challenge once in the story up until now, which this is something we all knew was coming, even before the title update was brought up, because obviously they were going to have a repeatable version of Zoshia to craft his armor. And for even more of a challenge, Arch-Tempered monsters will make an appearance. These are even stronger versions of Tempered monsters. Arch-Tempered Raid Dao will be the first, featuring in a limited time event quest from Wednesday, April 30th, and free challenge quest from Wednesday, May 7th. So this is an interesting thing because earlier I had speculated as to whether or not the only Raid Dao we're getting was going to be the free challenge quest one, because that's the one that we actually got to see the details of the quest, and he's only strength 3. I'm assuming the event quest is going to be strength 5. At least I hope so, because I think that would be really cool. Make sure you're Hunter rank 50 or above to take on this quest and earn its new rewards. end of May update. In addition, the update at the end of May will add the tempered monsters 8 stars, Gormagala, and the apex predators of each locale, Raydao, Uthduna, New Udra, and Jin Dahad. So we already have tempered monsters that can be 5 strength, but it seems that they're going to have even stronger versions added into the game. And this is actually a really good thing because right now they're just adding the, and this is only at the end of May, so it's still going to take a while. They're just adding the apex predators of each locale, but they could potentially be adding more monsters like Rathalos, some of the Guardians. You know, there's a bunch of monsters they can add that can become 8-star tempered monsters because at the end of the day, they're also adding Mizutsune as a tempered 8-star monster. This will give us a significant boost in challenge. Now, my biggest concern with this thing is that I don't necessarily know how these are going to be added into the game. Like, I'm hoping these are not just event quests, because that would kind of suck. I'm hoping that they can actually populate the world, so we can actually see these in the world. Maybe we can even have like, I mean, we're probably not going to have a toggle because they want the world to just be kind of like populated by monsters. But it's like, I want to run into these as I'm running into the open world. And that would be one of my biggest points of feedback for this live letter. Not really a live letter, developer letter, whatever you want to call it. That would be one of my biggest points of feedback. I don't just want these to be like optional quests. I want them to populate the map. Like, I think that's what makes the most sense, because that's one of the most organic ways, that's one of the defining characteristics of Wilds, is that we get to go out into the open world, and therefore, I expect to be seeing these populate the map. We shall see. Each of these monsters have had various behind-the-scenes adjustments to make them more resilient, such as increased health, resistance to wounding, yes sir! Make wounding actually matter, not just like a spammable thing, and tweaks to multiplayer scaling, thank God. Thank God for the tweaks to multiplayer scaling. I do not want to have people join in on a multiplayer quest and just have it be an absolute slaughter fest. Challenging monsters will also appear in future updates, so keep an eye out for further information about that. So this could actually be something that they're like, oh, we're kind of like doing a bait and switch. We're baiting all these new players in, and now we're going to bring in the real challenge. And it'd be great if those players would stick around, but I personally still feel that the challenge should have come in much, much earlier, and I think that would have made a world of difference. But, you know, it is what it is. In response to some of the feedback after launch, we are planning to make various adjustments to the game, including weapon balance changes. These will be implemented gradually with each upcoming title update in order to make the game more enjoyable for everyone for a longer period of time. Depending on the content, these changes may take some time to prepare. For example, we're currently carefully considering upward adjustments for the hammer, which means hammer bros, you're getting buffed, and then looking at other overall weapon balance adjustments with the goal to implement them in the end of May update or the second title update in summer, which is likely meaning that Gunland's going to get nerfed. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. They're going to nerf Gunlance into the ground. Whether or not it's warranted, I don't care. Some unintentionally overpowered things will be adjusted downward, but we'll also be adjusting other parts upward, making for a generally balanced update. The Corrupted Mantle was overtuned at launch. I barely use mantles, to be honest, causing it to build up more damage than expected, thus narrowing the range of options for choosing other mantles. In the first title update, the effect of the Corrupted Mantle will be adjusted downwards, so they're nerfing Corrupted Mantle, while the other mantles will be adjusted upwards, balancing the lineup of mantles to suit everyone's style of play. My prediction: Evasion Mantle is going to become the go-to for most people. It was already the case in Monster Hunter World, and if they're buffing it, most likely it will be the case now. That would be my prediction. We'll see if that's the case or not. Quality of life improvements. We'll continue to make quality of life improvements in the game in all areas, not just the ones listed below. For points that players are finding inconvenient, like the other changes, these will be implemented gradually for the forthcoming updates. First of all, in the first title update, we have made various functions available in the Grand Hub, and have also made several adjustments, such as reducing the waiting time when accessing facility functions in each locales. I'm actually not sure what this is referring to. Could it be that some things just happen faster, like when you get materials and stuff like that? I don't know. In addition, although some of these improvements are included in the above adjustments, we'll make it easier to access the information you need through the UI. There's been a lot of complaints about the game's UI, which I think is understandable. I can navigate it just fine, but yeah, sometimes some things feel a little bit out of place. In future updates, the team has also continued to make additional adjustments and improvements to further enhance the overall feel of the game to create even smoother gameplay experience, including but not limited to the ease of restocking items. And I know that some people are going to read this part, you're going to be like, what the hell? Restocking's already in the game. They're going to make it even easier. They're talking about from a UI perspective, okay? Because the way through which you go to restock, you have to go to the tent, then you press down on L3, and then you go to the loadouts, blah, blah, blah. They're probably going to make that a little bit easier. Checking skill information, participating in multiplayer quests, and using the sacred and camera behavior during hunts. Participating in multiplayer quests, that needs a lot of streamlining, mostly because the current multiplayer system is not fantastic. Improving game stability and other additions. The team has continued to identify stability issues and make improvements where possible, especially on the Steam version. So it'll be an ongoing process. We'll aim to make continually steps forward in this area to respond to critical issues. This is actually something that a lot of people have been asking me about, if I think that they're going to continue to be optimizing the game, which I said, of course. They're gonna try to make it as best as they possibly can. So they're saying here that improvements coming very soon include a reduction in VRAM usage and an upgrade to the direct storage version of the Steam version in Free Title Update 1. These should result in an overall improvement in stability for our PC players. Thank you for your patience as we continue to address reported issues and improve the overall technical experience for players on all platforms. Look forward to continuing improvements in Free Title Update 1 and future updates and patches to come. I'm going to try running Title Update 1 on my B580 and report back because that's kind of like a much lower budget card, which should give you an idea of what to expect. Game cycle balance adjustments. In addition, we also plan to take a wider look at overall gameplay flow, which encompasses a range of things, such as the in-game economy, balance, and other areas. We're also planning on addressing elements that require more time for preparation, starting with overall game balance, including downward adjustments. We'll update when we have further information regarding elements that are planned to be addressed in future updates. This is a little bit of a word salad here. My interpretation is that they're looking at the overall flow of the hunt, which I think is very important because if you have 4 players in there, it is an absolute slaughter fest. And this is something they already mentioned in the other things in the title update above, where they said that like, oh, we're going to make it so that monsters are not going to get wounded quite as easily. They're not going to get absolutely, destroyed. They're going to have more HP, that type of stuff. So that is going to be something that I predict they're going to be adjusting across the board. Which, maybe they were a little bit too lenient in terms of difficulty. Maybe they feel that. I definitely feel that. A lot of people in the community definitely feel that. So maybe that's what they're talking about. And when they say downward adjustments, they're probably talking about like hunter damage, hopefully. That's what I hope, but we'll see. More information on additional features. Some of the additional features that we've seen requested from the community are scheduled to be implemented in future updates. As we just announced, Monster Hunter Wilds Showcase, we plan to implement a list where you can see a preview of each endemic life you've captured in the update coming at the end of May. And if they're talking about this, I would imagine that they're also talking about, housing and all that stuff. That's probably going to be something that's going to come to the game as well. In addition, layered weapons will be coming in a future update. As more information on layered weapons become available, we'll be sure to share it with you. So we will have layered weapons before the release of the expansion, which is good to know. Looking ahead, we'll continue to add new elements and content to make Monster Hunter Wilds even more enjoyable for all hunters throughout our free content updates, while at the same time making further improvements and adjustments to the game. We'll do our best to ensure that you will enjoy the collaboration with the Capcom title in the update at the end of May, as well as the additional features in future updates, so we hope you enjoy it. Thank you for your continued support, Monster Hunter Wilds. Happy hunting. Yuya Tokuda, Director of Monster Hunter Wilds. So, some of the things here we already knew, but I think it is important to actually hear from the director so that we get to understand what their vision for the future of the game is. And it definitely seems like they understand it like, look, we get it. The game was a little bit on the easy side, or maybe a lot on the easy side, depending on who you ask. We're going to make it harder. We're going to make it more challenging, and we are going to adjust the flow of the overall game so that it becomes more challenging. That to me is a good thing, The biggest problem is that everybody's, that this is always going to be the fame of Monster Hunter Wilds. It's going to be considered one of the easier Monster Hunters. I don't know if title updates will ever change that fame, because for a lot of people, they've played the game and they've moved on, which is fair. It is what it is. At the end of the day, this is one of those games that you buy once, you can play it once, you can be done with it, or you can follow along with the updates, which is what we as a community usually tend to do. I see this as a very positive thing. I know for a lot of people are going to be like, this should have been like this at launch. Like, there's been a lot of negativity around Monster Hunter Wilds pretty much over the last couple of weeks as people finish the game and whatnot. They appear to be somewhat resentful, which, I understand. It is what it is. You can't please everyone. I'm just hoping for tougher monsters. I want bigger challenges. I want to be able to actually invite my community to come on hunts and for us to not absolutely slaughter every single thing that happens to have the misfortune of running into us. That's kind of just all I really want, really. More monsters, more content, more hard. And it seems like that is going to be something that is going to be happening throughout the upcoming title updates. So we'll see how things pan out. But for now, this is looking pretty good. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification icon, all of that jazz for more Monster Hunter Wilds news. And at the end of the week, we're going to be checking out all of the things that are coming with Title Update 1. Hopefully you guys will be there at the stream. And then there's also going to be Path of Exile updates as well, so look forward to that. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.